the 9th weekly program of Kalpa Green Chat. As some of you are aware, this is the program organized by jointly Kerala Startup Mission and Agri Business Incubation Center of ICAR Central Plantation Crops Research Institute. Hope Sawad also join us.
Sawad join the sir.
So welcome Mr. Sawad also. He is the district coordinator of Kerala Startup Mission. Then so once again welcome all of you and thank you for your support and patronage. As you are aware, this institute, that is Central Plantation Crops Research Institute, established in 1916 at Kasaragod. So in 2016 we completed our 100 year. Now it is the 104th year running. The institute has regional stations at Kayangulam in Alappuzha district, Kerala. Again, Vitla in Dakshin Kannada district, Karnataka. We have research centers at Kaikuchi, Assam, Mohitnagar, West Bengal, Kidu, Karnataka. And our mandate crops are mainly coconut, aracanut, and cocoa. Coming to agri-business incubation and business promotion, we are part of the National Agri-Business Incubation Network, in which more than 60 agri-business incubators are functioning. These incubators are chiefly located with the ICR institutes, that is Indian Council of Agriculture Research Institute. I may mention here that Indian Council of Agriculture Research is has the mandate to conduct research and education and extension in the field of agriculture. So research institute, agricultural universities, Krishi Vigyan Kendras, all are part of this network. In Kerala, we have Agri-Business Incubation Center starting from Trivandrum at Central Tuber Crops Research Institute, then CIFT, Central Institute for Fisheries Technology at Kochi, Indian Institute of Spices Research, Calicut, and the Central Plantation Crops Research Institute here. Nearby we have at Puttur, Karnataka, Directorate of Cashew Nut Research. Then we have Indian Institute of Horticulture Research, Bangalore, National Research Center for Banana at Trichy, Tiruchirappalli, Sugarcane Breeding Institute, Coimbatore, and some of the important agri-business incubation centers at the agricultural universities. One of the oldest is the Tamil Nadu Agricultural University, Coimbatore. Some few years back, we had started at one at Kerala Agricultural University. These are all very helpful for those entrepreneurs who want to start business with technologies in agriculture sector. So on behalf of the National Network of Agri-Business Incubation Center, I request all of you, you can make a visit to any of the nearest agri-business incubator, and through that network, you can access technologies available through the length and breadth of the country under the National Agriculture Research Education System. Generally, our technologies can be grouped under 4 categories. One is seed or planting material. That is very important because from there only farming starts. Then inputs for our cropping, farming. That can be botanical pesticides or fertilizers. Many things are there. Then another important area emerging in India, as far as India is concerned, most important area is the food processing. And again, we require machineries for processing food as well as for agricultural farm operations. So that machineries. So these are the major technology grouping you can see in any of these ICR or state agricultural university. So coming to planting material, as I told, our crops are coconut, arecanut, and cocoa. They are very much perennial in nature. It will take 4 or 5 years for start to get yield, and to complete the evaluation of a particular parent, it will take 10-15 years. So private nurseries are not that much in this sector, but we have many attempted now. We have established through our guidance more than 30 coconut nurseries in Kerala with the Coconut Producer Federation through that network. Then we have some very prominent nurseries. One is DJ Farm, another is Umapati Nurseries, like that. And now we have released 21 coconut varieties, 10 arecanut varieties, then 9 cocoa selections, etc. And anybody want to start nursery, of course, that is a very long process. They can approach us. We are happy to license our varieties to them. But on the other hand, many other horticulture crops and other field crops, nursery is a big business. And our Atmanirbhar program, our Prime Minister and our central government has already announced that seed banks will be available in all districts through under the auspices of Krishi Vigyan Kendra. So any entrepreneur is interested, they can very much interact with the concerned Krishi Vigyan Kendras in their district and to see how best they can be in these seed ventures. So these are some of photos. Then few more technologies in the seed venture or production of planting material are, one is arecanut tissue culture, which we have commercialized to one company, Spic Coimbatore. And of course, our technology transfer is not exclusive. Anybody interested, they can come forward and acquire the technology. Then we have coconut zygotic embryo culture, mainly for bringing varieties from abroad. In fact, DJ Farm has taken this technology. Then coconut pollen cryopreservation. So when you are interested in producing hybrid coconut, you can store the pollen for years. So that technology also we have. And recent addition to this nursery venture is one firm, La Fame de Peter Private Limited at Tirunelveli. They have licensed our 12 varieties. Coming to inputs for farming. See, you know that there are many inputs required for farming, for plant protection, fertilizer, like that. So we have many good technologies for organic research. One is the Kalpa Gold. It is nothing but coconut leaf vermicomposting. It can be adapted by the farmers themselves, or a group of farmers can join and produce this coconut leaf vermicompost and sell, because it is having a good market. Then another is the urea-free coir pith composting. All the nurseries across the country, across the world now want soil-free media for taking these seedlings to the farmers. So, especially in the context of organic farming, urea-free coir pith compost is having a lot of demand. So that technology, we have few success stories. At Payyanur, one firm marketing this as Samriddhi, they have very good business. Then another important aspect is the microbial bioinoculants. It can be biofertilizers or to control pest and diseases, etc. So for promoting the plant genetic growth and providing immunity to plants, especially for coconut and cocoa, we have one formulation called Kera Probio and Cocoa Probio, and also Keram, it's a mycorrhiza. The Kera Probio already commercialized. One farmer group already started producing it in a large quantity at Alappuzha district. Then at fertilizer, we know that all our acidic soils are deprived of micronutrients. So we generally give nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. But micronutrient like zinc, sulfate, boron, iron, so many things, some 10, 13 micronutrients are. So to assure their availability to the plants for good health and good yield, we have come out with a solution that is Kalpa Poshak and Kalpa Vardhini micronutrient solution. Then to control the fungus diseases of coconut, we have the trichoderma, another antagonistic fungus, which kills the other pathogenic fungi. So that is strains we have. We have also the cake formulation, which is very easy to use. Then to control the white grape in arecanut and coconut, etc., we have come out with a nematode, entomopathogenic nematode, Acco formulation. It was found to be very effective, not only for our crops, even for cultivating vegetables like cabbage, cauliflower, etc. And already 3-4 firms licensed for this technology with us. They are very happy with our technology. Then another industry product is Nanometrics, for especially to improve the pheromone delivery. Coming to food technology, we have an array of novel food, coconut products especially. To start with the coconut chips, which is one of the most tasty coconut products. Even internationally, it's acclaimed that is one of the best, and protocol is the best in the world. That is also there. To give more details, Mr. Sibi is there. He is having much more experience than our scientists in this field. So directly he will be talking about this. And another important coconut product, novel coconut product, is the virgin coconut oil. So we had already some lectures in this regard, and we'll be doing it again, maybe in September. Kalpa Green Chat again we'll be revisiting. So I'm not expanding all those things, explaining more on that. And again, our friend Mahesh Bhatt will be talking you about this, how you can produce and market virgin coconut oil. Then we have the Kalparasa. It is age-old toddy. Then in some places it is called Neera. Whatever it is, ours is Kalparasa because it is having 0% alcohol. Otherwise, all other inflorescence sap collected from coconut or any other palm have some fermentation. There will be some alcohol content in it. But whereas the technology which we standardized at the CPCRI, it is a very simple technology, only using a chiller, a chilling box with some ice inside. And we have now developed a mold for that. It is very readily available. That box is readily available from Mangalore. One firm is making it. And we are also working in tandem with the agriculture and horticulture departments to help the farmers to take up this Kalparasa tapping and marketing as a venture. From that, we can have Kalpa, this coconut sugar. From coconut sugar, you can make dark chocolate or ice cream, or we have a pure vegetarian ice cream. That is, no animal protein or fat is there. That is called a coconut vegan delicacy to distinguish it from the other milk-based or edible oil-based ice creams. So this coconut vegan coconut frozen delicacy consists of coconut pulp, tender coconut pulp, coconut sugar, coconut milk, etc. So that technology also taken by 3-4 big firms, including our Dinesh Food, Hangyu, etc. Then from many other products you can have. We'll have a detailed discussion on it in some other occasion. So we have many other expert panel here. I have to give time for them. So to sum up, these are our technology novel food product technologies, virgin coconut oil, coconut chips, kalparasa, sugar, coconut water, coconut milk powder, trimmed tender coconut and snowball tender coconut. And all the machineries for most of these technologies, which machineries also got patented. And 4 or 5 industry firms licensed these designs, so they can make it for you. So whoever taking our technology, licensing with us, we will be giving them the address of this machine manufacturer, and they can get the machineries from them. That is also not a big issue. In fact, we will have having an interaction with the machine manufacturers in this Kalpa Green Chat probably next week or so. I will tell you that. Now, we have already licensed our technologies to more than 250 entrepreneurs or firms. And I may mention here that within 2 or 3 hours, you can visit our institute and complete the licensing aspect. There is no hurdle. And according to your time, according to your convenient time, you and your workers can come to CPCRI and have the training. And we not only end there, we will continue our support. Whenever there is a problem for your production, we will be there to help you. And we have another aspects of agribusiness incubation is, as I mentioned, technology backstop training, then technology consultation. So whenever you want some specific technology, which you feel that it is your own, you want to study the shelf life or optimize the combination. So we will be there with you with an MOU that will be exclusively for you with a very minimum costing. Then we also provide consultancy and contractual research and mentoring guidance and other logistic we provide. We have incubation facility here for BCO, desiccated coconut chips, activated shell carbon, coconut sugar, bean to bar chocolate, coconut frozen delicacy, etc. These are given to the entrepreneurs, first come, first served basis. Then you can visit more details from our exclusive website, cpcri.agribus.in, all of our business related activities. Then these are some of our firms. Then now we have on 6th August, Thursday, a webinar, Technology, Finance and Policy Support for Coconut MSMEs. The classes will be mainly taken by the MSME Assistant Director, Mr. Martin Chaco. And some of our people also will be there to give you advice on any queries on technology and other aspects. Again, this is a webinar jointly organized by the CPCRI Agribusiness Incubation Center, then Kerala Startup Mission and MSME Development Institute. Then on 8th August, we will be giving an opportunity to all entrepreneurs to interact with the machine manufacturers. There, they will be telling their machines available, not only CPCRI developed machines, but all machines available for, especially for food and other sector. Then on 22nd August, those who want to know more about agricultural technologies across the nation, that is, whether it is the meat, poultry, fish, other horticulture crops, spices, whatever it is. So we will be bringing all the agribusiness incubators in one line on 22nd August. And on 29th August, we are planning to have an exclusive session on export promotion of coconut in collaboration with the Coconut Development Board. That program will be scheduled soon. With this, I conclude. We will be interacting more on after hearing from our panel, their presentation. So I request Mr. Jasim to arrange the presentation accordingly. Thank you.
Very good morning to Dr. Muralidharan sir and the distinguished panelists and other participants to this webinar. Here, on behalf of NABARD, being the District Development Manager of NABARD in Kasaragod District, I will be speaking about some basic initiatives we have taken up with the announcement of Government of India recently, and some of the programs which we have been running earlier also under this whole gamut of agricultural development as well as rural development. As all of you are aware of, NABARD has been the premier development institution in the field of agriculture and rural development for the last 30-35 years. And we are so proud that we have been able to contribute a great sort of deal to the nation building, especially in the sectors of agriculture and rural development. And agriculture being the backbone of our economy, whether in terms of this, what you call the economy per se, or the employment potential, or the overall development of the economy, we have so much of our importance lying in this particular field. So under this background, Government of India has initiated so many schemes recently, especially during this post-COVID scenario. And one of such focus area has been development of infrastructure. All of you may be aware that NABARD has been into supporting rural infrastructure development for the past 25 years through one dedicated source of fund of ours, that is also called Rural Infrastructure Development Fund. This particular fund was especially catering to the needs of agriculture and related sectors, rural connectivity segment, as well as social infrastructure in the fields of agriculture and rural development. And with the recent announcement of certain policy guidelines, this infrastructure development is again taking a quantum jump, which I will be elaborating a little later. Another important aspect which we have been all feeling, as well as NABARD has been focusing, has been to addressing the value chain to the maximum extent possible. Means, as all of you know, our poor farmers, they were not getting adequate income realization out of their hard-earned produce because of middlemen taking away the profits. So as a solution to this thing, we have evolved a sort of collectivism in the minds of farmers, and as a result, we have formulated one scheme called Farmers Producer Organization, where this farmers collectivists can, on the strength of their collectivism, they can achieve direct market to access to the market, as well as get a better remuneration of their produce. So NABARD has been into this activity for the last 4 to 5 years, and right across the country, right now we have around 4,000 odd farmers producer organizations, either registered under Companies Act or under the Farmers Charitable Societies Act. And in Kerala right now, I hope I am addressing at least some of the participants from outside Kerala also. Maybe I'm not right now in a position to say the state-wise spread of the agriculture produce companies, but I can at least with a certain degree of assurance say that our neighboring states like Tamil Nadu, Karnataka and all, this has been grown into a large extent, wherein farmers producer companies of more than 1,000 membership has been formed, and they have been doing a wonderful business or activities for the last 2 or 3 years. For the initial hand-holding, we have been giving some initial hand-holding support in the form of mobilization advances, as well as their training of their board members, training the farmers, and also some dedicated programs have been tailor-made by NABARD training institutions situated at Lucknow, Bangalore, as well as Bhopal, through which we have been imparting special custom-made programs for these various stakeholders in the farmers producer organization uh, spread across the country. And with as you know, NABARD has been playing a very vital role in extending refinance to banks for giving or making available the credit available at a reduced source of interest. For this, there was the system of interest subvention and prompt repayment facility, which was available from the funding support of central government, and under this short-term crops were made available at a rate of 4%. And in Kerala, since the state government was extending a further reduction or further subvention of 4%, practically all the cooperative banks which have been extending short-term credit support, mostly our primary agriculture credit societies, they have been getting the KCC facility, Kisan Credit Card facility, with 0% rate of interest. Now, adding to this dimension, from the last year onwards, related activities like dairy, animal husbandry, as well as fishery also has been made eligible for this KCC facility, wherein the working capital requirements for this dairy as well as fishery segments has also been made eligible for coverage under this KCC facility, wherein the advantage of 4% or 0%, depending on the case. For example, if it is a commercial bank or rural, regional rural bank, they will be getting at a percent of 4%, whereas a cooperative bank like our PACs, they will be getting at 0% in the context of Kerala. And coming to the recent developments, let me first touch upon a mega step which has been put forth by Government of India, that is creation of a dedicated source called Agriculture Infrastructure Fund, wherein farmers or PACs or any collectives, farmers producer organizations, anybody can set up some basic, here the basic spirit was again adding value to the to his bargaining capacity and reducing our cost of our wastage. That means we all know that at least 30 to 35% of our entire produce, mostly if it is vegetables and other things, is going into going as sheer waste. So with a mammoth population of, like India's, even though we have a reasonably satisfactory buffer cushion from the point of view of food security as well as national security, this thing, creation of such a facility assumes very special importance. And in this context, Government of India has declared a fund of about 1 lakh crore over a period of 2010 to 2030. So here, any farmers can set up post-harvest facilities, storage facilities like godowns, cold storages, then primary processing facilities, then silos, assaying units, then grading and other such facilities. All these things are eligible items under this particular fund. And for the current year, for this out of this 1 lakh, mainly the state-wise allocation has been made by Government of India, is mainly taking into account the contribution or the potential of each state in contributing to the entire agriculture economy of the nation. For the state of Kerala, an amount of 2,542 crore has been allocated under this fund. And as I had told earlier, the amount which can be used for setting up post-harvest facilities are eligible for this activity. And under this particular facility, all those, and here another advantage, if we are to just implement any system, a sort of environment should be created. So this is essentially, again, it is a bank linked scheme. And here all sort of banks, be it a cooperative bank, scheduled cooperative bank, RRB, cooperative systems, all sort of banks are eligible. And government has already moved into some tie-up arrangements because here the spirit is that 3% interest subvention, it is a very big advantage under this particular scheme. 3% interest subvention is available for creating this infrastructure facilities, but maximum amount of, there is no upper ceiling on this units to be created, but for getting this 3% interest subvention, there is a cap of that cost of that project being, it is fixed at 2 crore. That does not mean that he cannot set up a unit of he or a bank collective, farmers collective. They can set up a unit of even 5 crore or 10 crore facility, like a big godown, big cold storage, and all sort of things. Even ice plants or primary processing facilities, grading and assaying units, all sort of facilities are available. And there, this is also backed up by a credit guarantee facility. That is another great advantage under this particular fund. So this is one, I think, milestone announcement which has been made by Government of India. And there are various monitoring facilities are being set up at this entire national level, state level, under the chairmanship of Chief Secretary, and also at the district level, at the chairmanship of district collector, with appropriate stakeholders. Am I audible, sir? Visible? Hello?
Yes, yes.
Because I am not getting, I think there are some disruptions, some signal issues. I think I am audible as well as visible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, audible
Okay.
as well as visible.
Fine, fine. Thank you. And one more program which has been announced by Government of India recently has been towards setting up of the farmers producer organization. As I told, NABARD has made quantum jumps in that regard. And here now a new scheme has been announced by Government of India, again for supporting 10,000 farmers producer clubs across the length and breadth of the country. And here this 3 agencies, SFAC, NCDC, as well as NABARD, has been given the responsibility of setting up these facilities. Here again, as I said, the basic spirit has been bringing to a common pool the farmers, and then setting up their enhancing their capacity so as to have a better bargaining facility, and gradually the system of marketing can be established so that their income remuneration will be matching with their expectations, or even they can go for branding and all those high-end marketing strategies, developing appropriate technologies, etc., etc. And here again, for the time being, the guidelines have indicated that they have suggested one product, leading product from one particular district, but that does not mean that we cannot go for more than one farmers producer organization from a district. And only stipulation what they told is that from the past experience, the number of farmers, that is the key, or the capital formation is the key for any success of any venture. So to that extent, to begin with, at least a membership of 300 should be there at the beginning, and it can grow, or it should grow at least to a level of or minimum 1,000 or more than that, so that they can have the economies of scale and also have realistic activities, or rather than just they should be focusing on production as well as addressing each part of the entire value chain, be it in production or be it in marketing or any, addressing the full value chain is the key to the success of this entire program. So again, this is this can be supported by banks, any supporting agencies like KVK or agricultural universities or registered or capable. There is a concept of called CBBO, that is a cluster-based business organizations. So certain clarity is still to be emerging in this aspect, because we cannot expect that all this expert kind of things will be available in each and nook and corner of the country. So we have to just think of now how we will go ahead with this concept and how it is workable. And this is a basic essence of this particular scheme. And in Kerala, as I told, we have so far established around 105 farmers producer organizations. So I can proudly say that in Kasaragod district, we have set up 5 such FPOs, and one is, I am very happy to glad that KVK attached to our CPCRL only has been behind the agency which has been supporting or promoting that agency, and to add on to that, at least 2 agencies have taken the or availed bank guarantee, bank support from various banks and financial institutions for their operations. And this is about this, because availing this credit facility from bank merely on the strength of their cash flow or the viable activity which they are so far undertaken is a yardstick or benchmark to measure how far that attempt has been successful so far. So this is another critical area which is now going to be broadened up or scaled up in the coming days. And as you know, MSME is also assuming a great lot of importance. And with this particular thing in mind, from 1st of July 2020 onwards, this reclassification of MSME, the definition of MSME has undergone a total shift. It is now a sort of composite criteria has been established, wherein the investment in plant and machinery as well as the turnover has been linked. When even if we mention about micro or small or medium enterprise, so under this category, any unit which is having a maximum investments of up to or less than 5 crore under less than 1 crore under plant and machinery, and less than 5 crore annual turnover is treated as a micro enterprise, and from 5 to 10 crore it has been treated as a small scale this thing, and as far as the investment plant and machinery is concerned, and this up to more than 50 crore turnover, it has been treated as a medium scale industry. So we have got tremendous potential, especially after this COVID scenario. We will be having so many units which may be, or so many entrepreneurs who may be interested in setting up such units. So I think with this, so many schemes which are started by even state government also. For example, our Subiksha Kerala, started by government of Kerala, has been one of the pioneer example for this thing. I think similar programs would have been announced by other state government as well to promote the entire segment after the post-COVID scenario. I think I have just indicated some of the leading developments or major developments which has recently happened in this regard, and I'll be covering those things in detail, which is expected to be posed in the question answer session. Since there are other distinguished panelists are also there, I will not take much of time. I will conclude by just saying this thing. At this post-COVID situation, we have a lot of responsibility expected, and one thing I just forgotten to tell you was NABARD has been implementing some subsidy schemes of Government of India, for which NABARD has been the administrating agency. One was for dairy development, again for poultry, piggery, then goat rearing, as well as male buffalo, calf rearing, and all those things. For this current year, state government allocation or the budget is yet to be received. Once it is received, again it is all linked to bank credit, and necessary communication will be passed out to the particular bank. Not only the particular bank, now everything is routed through the banking channel, so that there will be definite asset creation as well as something will be visible in the capital formation aspect. So for which under these two major schemes, one is the very popular dairy DEDS scheme, as well as the NLM, which was in vogue for the last 5-6 years. So for the current year, the guidelines are to be received. So as and when it comes, we will be sharing those things with the banks as well as the departments concerned. So I will conclude at this point and join you when the other after the other discussions are over, or during the question answer session. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jyotit sir. Actually, as you know, Mr. Jyotit Jagdan sir is a very busy person, because the entire district aspects of NABARD he has to look after single-handedly.
Yeah, Murali sir is facing some technical issues. Anyway, yeah. Thank you, Jyotit sir. It was a wonderful presentation. And yeah, I invite Dr. Shyamala Prasad to brief about some health benefits of coconut products and make a brief presentation. Thank you, sir, and welcome, ma'am.
To such a prestigious community. Today, I want to share some practical aspects of this wonderful fruit called coconut. So, this coconut has been around 4,500 years. It has been grown in tropical regions and has been a wonderful fruit, giving us all the vitamins, proteins, vital minerals, everything. See, there are certain minerals and antioxidants in coconut which are equal to mother's milk. They are this lauric acid, gallic acid, caffeic acid, salicylic acid. And it is such a wonderful fruit, readily available. It has to have such a beautiful acceptance towards people. What happened in between? I want to highlight this point, why we human beings suddenly disconnected with this coconut, and again this coconut is coming into picture. So I want to highlight these aspects because Now, if you tell about coconut to anybody, the first thing they tell about coconut is it increases your cholesterol, it brings you fat, all these things. But hello, hello,
Ma'am,
we
yeah,
can.
ma'am. Yeah, ma'am. Hearing you.
yeah, I am clear, no?
Yeah, yeah.
So I just want to highlight this point to you. In 1956, there was a study, American study, which stated that coconut was so bad for health. It is very bad for coronary artery diseases. You'll end up with heart complaints, and you should never consume coconut oil or coconut for that matter. What happened? See, after some years, it came out as a lobbying of soybean growers and oil manufacturers. This is what I am saying. If I want to describe this coconut not as common people see this. If you know what is inside this coconut, you will be surprised and amazed. It is such a fruit that it was described in such a ancient Nigantu called Kaidev Nigantu, which says Nalikeram himam snigdam swadupakam rasam guru tarpanam pachanam vrishyam brahmanam bala mamsakrit. See, this fruit was explained that this can actually cure gastritis. See, what they tell is it is very heavy, it causes digestion problems, but it is actually pachanam. This increases the digestive capacity of the person. And also, it is an aphrodisiac. It increases your muscle strength, that is mamsakrit. It is not, it increases obesity. There are so many studies conducted about coconut, and even our own state, Tirunanthapuram college, a particular college had studied that in fact it only increases good cholesterol and lowers bad cholesterol. Even Amrita Institute of Kochi recorded the same research papers stating that coconut is all good and nothing bad is there about coconut. So see, such a beautiful fruit. We have sidelined this for other oils like soybean oil, olive oils. We find it very fancy to use olive oils. I again substantiate what our Honorable Prime Minister has told: be local, be vocal. It is the local coconut which has had the great health impact in Kerala people, because it reduces the genotoxicity and it gives a better generation. What better than this? Just imagine if it is giving healthy offspring and increasing the health capacity of the next generation. What better can happen? See, you may be surprised that recent studies have even showed that even cancer patients can even ward off the side effects of chemotherapy. And because what happens, chemotherapy brings in about a very debilitating state of mind, and then they have to reduce this dosage of chemotherapy. So what they are telling is coconut and coconut oil, especially virgin coconut oil, has been proven to reduce the side effects of chemotherapy. Can you imagine this? This was a study in September 18 in Integrative Report, because there was so much lobbying going on against coconut that many institutions decided to check it out. And I'll tell you one thing: there is one called MTX chemotherapy, in which there are severe side effects that patient is simply unable to discontinue with the chemotherapy. And it is known that if you give virgin coconut oil, it actually brings in so much antioxidants that it is very easy to continue the chemotherapy also. And suddenly now, after Corona, this has become a fad that you consume virgin coconut oil. Why it happened? Because this coconut oil was sidelined because it was too good. You believe me, it has happened so that this oil is capable of bringing all other coconut oil just outside the market. It is such a good thing to consume coconut water, coconut milk, coconut oil. See, all these, that is, it is called Kalpavriksha. Everything related to this coconut can be used. If there is a house which has one coconut tree, coconut water can be used for people who have urinary tract infections, who want to reduce weight. Coconut as such can be consumed for people who want more energy. Coconut oil can be consumed who want energy and at the same time who wants to reduce weight. See this wonderful fruit which causes Brahmana. That means it increases your muscle capacity, muscle strength. When you are using it as a coconut scraping, and reducing your body weight when you are using it as a virgin coconut oil. Such a finesse of this coconut can be seen only in the wonderful earth, nothing else. No processed thing can supply you this. And see what happens, people again argue about how much to consume. This is a very practical aspect when we provide chips or we provide vinegars of coconut water and coconut oil. People are confused how much to consume. And they were telling it is very bad for heart disease. You will be surprised that a study shows that if you are consuming coconut regularly, it does no harm to any heart disease patient and directly increases the capacity of the person to store, that is, he cannot store the cholesterol level, the bad cholesterol reduces. This is the recent studies which came up. That was because they were not biased studies. That is what I am telling. This coconut has been just sidelined because you won't believe even coconut has the capacity to form red blood cells. That is, it has copper, it has iron, it has this arginine, it has such an antioxidant capacity, selenium. It is such an important antioxidant that selenium tablets are sold for so much of more money in the market, and this basic ingredient in our food is sidelined. And coconut milk has been showed that even if you are giving a coconut milk porridge, that means like what khichdi in rice, they have studied that 60 men were given this coconut porridge and their waistline actually decreased. That means absolutely it does not increase your weight or it does not cause obesity, it actually reduces your obesity. So I am still wondering how this general aspect that coconut oil, if you eat in large quantity, it will increase your weight, how this came along. And there were other things also I want to highlight in this. When I researched about this coconut and coconut products and coconut oil, I was just finding out how to make this coconut oil become so potentiated that it can cure many diseases in the same way consumed in a larger quantity. You will be surprised. My finger pointed, I researched, and finally it came down to CPCRI Kasaragod. I was so shocked that such a primary institution is doing this work as a pioneer in the whole of the world. And they have brought up, I am meeting most of the panelists for the first time, but I want to give you a huge applause that that this institution has developed this method after so much of research. I was shocked to find, because they have been researching about this coconut oil for so long time, and this processed virgin coconut oil, cold pressed coconut oil has been in the market, and they have developed this real virgin coconut oil. This is not marketed as it should have been, because There were 10 methods they adopted for making virgin coconut oil, and the method they came up with, which was the best and the foremost coconut oil, virgin coconut oil, which can be used by everybody in the world with the maximum antioxidant benefits, was developed by CPCRI. You really deserve a great round of applause for this research, because see, if I tell you all the, I cannot even count up out how many goodness that virgin coconut oil has, and in that they scaled 1 to 10, and this virgin coconut oil they developed came 10 out of 10. That was this method of double boiler steam jacket method. So I'm surprised this place is very near to our place, and they have developed such a pioneering method, which has to be like told to the whole world that this virgin coconut oil can actually give a great result to your our usual problems. See, I am a doctor practicing since 22 years. The usual problem is hair, is skin, is loss of strength. We are tired. We have gastric problems. We have ulcer. We have constipation. And surprisingly, virgin coconut oil is the answer, because this virgin coconut oil has been proven, has been made into many powders, tablets, just to cure gastritis and gastric ulcer. It is stated in textbook also that it is a cassia. Cassia means it helps grow hair. That is written thousands and thousands of years back. You have to take in, because snehana is a very big thing. I want to explain to this crowd that what this coconut oil does. It is that abhyantara snehana, it is called in Ayurveda. It oleates your body to strengthen your body from inside, which you cannot do from supplements or from any other tablets. It is that day-to-day process which you feed to the children. See, if your children is obese, just cook in coconut oil. That is all I'm telling. There was a question regarding coconut oil, how to give it to the children. So I will tell only this much. If your child is obese, and that wonderful thing I want to tell is about the skin problems, you just have to consume this virgin coconut oil for any type of skin problems. You believe me, even acts in psoriasis. Psoriasis is known to be very difficult to cure disease. It is immunomodulating in nature, and it is very it takes a lot of time to cure. But this virgin coconut oil, especially I'm highlighting because it is just available, because the best of the oil is available. Don't use refined coconut for any of your purpose. No canned coconut, because you cannot remove the goodness of the coconut and just show that you are using the coconut. That is not the thing. You have to, and this double boiler method, this was the original method humankind used in the Mediterranean region. This was the original method. This was again developed by this CPCRI Kasaragod. That was, they might have done a great research in this regard. Yes, there is a question from Muralidharan K. You can use for cooking. You can use as it is before your food. It depends on what you want that to do for yourself. If you have you are obese, if you have gastritis, if you have cholesterol, do use it in your cooking also. And also you should be taking it like 10 to 15 ml, like even 30 ml is okay in a day, early morning. You can take it in the early morning. And I would advise you can use this turmeric along with this virgin coconut oil in this corona days, because yeah, I come to this question. This virgin coconut oil, when mixed with turmeric, this will just boost your immune system. And what is the difference between a normal coconut oil and a virgin coconut oil. That is a major difference I want to tell you. The normal coconut oil, which is refined, loses its antioxidants because the preparation method is not the right method. The right method which brings about this virgin coconut oil is the right method. That is the processing of the oil. Just it is I think that protein, it allows the proteins to coagulate and releases the oil, yielding the highest amount of antioxidants. It is a proper explanation of that, because they have evaluated this method. As I have read in all these things, they have evaluated this method through a lot of standards, like remnant particles and antioxidants, and even absorption in the body. So this method has come out to be the best. That is, if you're using virgin coconut oil in comparison to the normal coconut oil, this is like 10 out of 10, and normal coconut oil is like 1, 2, and up to 3. So there is a lot of difference between the virgin coconut oil and the normal coconut oil. And how to use it, there was a question how to use it for kids. Just use it in your diet very, very regularly. And it has been shown that people who use it in their diet, you start from your early childhood, use it in their diet, the children develop less skin diseases. Their hairs are intact. But as much as possible, you should not increase the dosage to like 10 to 15 spoons per day, because obviously it is snehana. Snehana means it has that oiliness in your body. So you might experience like the stools are just passing loose, but it won't be loose stools as such. But you might feel something dizzy, or if you take an overdose immediately, like you're taking a real 10 to 15 spoon at once, then it won't be comfortable for you. That doesn't cause any problem, because we give Abhyantara Sneha Pana up to 60 ml. That are those medicated gritas and oils. It can be taken, but there is a process to take this. And now there is a fad like coconut detox. See, what is happening is the outside world is telling us how good coconut is, and we have to be alert that people are actually taking our coconut to such a big level that it is coming under coconut detox in very big resorts. They are just giving coconut oil inside and applying coconut oil outside, and it is becoming a detox. We have to we have to be alert enough to understand that there is much more to this coconut and coconut oil. And yes, even coconut milk, I should say, this virgin coconut oil is not the oil which is derived from dried coconut. It is derived from this coconut milk as such, because coconut milk itself is a very, very nutritious food. It is called a superfood actually. Now it is really in action in the foreign countries, that is called a superfood. And when this virgin coconut oil is made from this coconut milk, it includes all the goodness of this coconut milk and shows its quality like a finish, that is like fine tuning of the coconut, because it neutralizes all the side effects. If you think that if you are taking coconut in large quantity, you will feel heavy, coconut oil doesn't make it so. It reduces all the, literally balances it and brings it to such a level that you get very, very high quantities of antioxidants. So what can be more wonderful than this? See, because methotrexate is an anti-metabolite, anti-cancer agent, which is used for most of the cancer therapies. And it has been shown that this can actually compensate for that. It can be given along with that to make the patient better. That is the action of antioxidants. Because yeah, I'll come to this question. Because see, such a strong effect is neutralized by this coconut oil. There is a question regarding groundnut oil and coconut oil. Yes, there are some things I want to explain in this. How much local it is good. See, groundnut is a staple this of certain areas, but you should understand this. Whatever the oil it is available in the local area is good. But for example, ghee, coconut oil has been used in literally whole of the world. That is because this coconut oil is somewhere inside the conscious of every human being, that he knows that it is the right answer to many of the questions. But because of this fads, like you find in the big bazaar, you find in the city center, you find so many oils. And yes, I'll come to this question. That olive oil, soya bean oil, sunflower oil. See, I don't object to any of these oils, but in Ayurveda also it is said that Grita Taila Vasamaja, there are 4 types of snehana. If you ask me which is good, Grita or Taila, I can always tell this, they are in par. But more than that, if we are using that is called Desi cow's ghee, that is a local cow, which is giving the milk, if you are making the ghee out of it, then that is the best thing. In the same way, what is virgin? Okay. In the same way, this virgin coconut oil is the purest form of coconut oil. That is what I'm telling. Yes, there was a question. CPCRI has literally everything. I didn't meet any of these panelists, but I have checked all the details. They have simply everything related to chucking of this coconut and coconut. They are actually a very good like guides. If you want to check every detail about the oils which anybody has manufactured or you are getting in the market, you can always put them into check through CPCRI. I think the panelists will support my this, because I know it is true. And yes, so groundnut oil you should use. There is a certain thing about groundnut oil I would like to say. Groundnut oil is hot in nature. Groundnut oil is high in calories, and it is not as coconut oil Sloka says, it is himam. It is not coolant. It provides a heat to the body. So I would advise you use coconut oil, virgin coconut oil, as in your food or diet. Use coconut oil like little for your certain foods which you are not making for, like one day you're making in coconut oil. You can use once in a week groundnut oil. But please understand, this coconut oil is not only about the saturated fats or the only goodness of the taste or the smell. It is about what is inside that. It reduces the genotoxicity. It brings your body to such an antioxidant level that you can develop immunity from many, many diseases. And yes, it can even increase your metabolism. See, menopausal ages, people are only bothered about metabolism. However much we are eating, we are just gaining weight. We are eating very little also, we are gaining weight. So this is the metabolism is hampered. So all you have to do is just use this virgin coconut oil, because it betters your metabolism. It can actually better your weight also. Yeah, I think CPCRI can direct. There is one institute related to CPCRI, I feel so. It's not a testing agency as such, but there are definitely agencies which CPCRI, because I know that this virgin coconut oil was given a direction to check it out, like how much, what is there in the content is there. You can definitely contact the people or the panelists. They will definitely direct you. It may be not in Kasaragod, this area, But there will be definitely institute, because I know it is true. I have seen it testing certain coconut oils. So for I think remnants of minerals and this. So yeah, one more I wanted to highlight is uh, uh, the minerals in coconut oil. They sometimes, what happens due to processing, some minerals are lost, especially the selenium. There are some minerals which are very delicate and they can easily get lost. They can be losing its nature. But in this process of that is steam jacket method, they don't lose their nature, and it highlights to get its antioxidant property. So I would actually advise everybody to use that. And even I think even coconut oil, people should know about certain things, that it contains like 61% of fiber, and it relieves the pancreatic stress in diabetic patients. Like if a person is taking the coconut chutney in the morning, then he eats less in the afternoon. That means he can reduce the calories very easily. That also makes up to reducing obesity. So I don't want to take a lot of time. I am open for questions if anybody wants anything. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, ma'am. Thanks a lot for sharing your experience, your learnings and findings in this busy time also. And we have Savad is from Startup Mission Business Development Coordinator, but he told that he's not presenting because we had a presentation on Startup Mission last week. So he'll be here as a panelist, and you can ask queries after these sessions. And we have two incubators, Mr. CB and Mr. Mahesh Bhatt. CB is actually is running a coconut chips business. It's in Madike, and Mahesh Bhatt is running a Sri Kalpa Industries as Kumbla, mainly that is virgin coconut oil. And I request CB to share experience, a few words, and after that Mahesh Bhatt will explain his experience also. And after that, we have here interaction session. At that time, you can ask questions in Malayalam or English, in which language you can ask questions. And we have panel from CPCRA also. So I request Mr. Sibi to give few words about his experience in his business.
So first I thank Dr. Shyamala for joining us. It's a wonderful speech. And again, thanks for appreciating our efforts also. Hope in future programs, you will be joining us for this kind of activities. Thank you for your passion in coconut oil.